All right, you guys. Finna share a video with you. Dawn Stanley, she made a perfectly good point when they mentioning other players on the other team. And I'm gonna let y'all take a look and listen to what she got to say.
Kenny with the New York Post. Raven was talking about, as a little girl, watching Breanna Stewart win 4 straight titles and how that might have felt attainable, and her now being on the doorstep of a 3rd and winning back-to-back. It doesn't make that any less surreal that you guys are here. I'm just wondering, have you taken time to just step back and appreciate this moment that South Carolina women's basketball is?
No, I haven't. I like real time. Like if you when you ask me, in that moment, I'll reflect on that in this moment. But we have a job to do. I will say Raven was the conductor in putting that class together. Like during the recruiting process, it was during the pandemic. Raven and I would talk, and she would ask me who we're recruiting, right? And she would be the first one to say, "Hey, you about to get a birdie." Like she would tell me, "You about to get a birdie," and then she self-described herself as Big Bird. Right? Yeah, she was gonna be the last one to commit. She was gonna get all her troops lined up, and then Big Bird's gonna bring it on home. And Raven consistently said, "We're gonna win championships." And you're thinking like a 18, 17-year-old young person, really doesn't know what she's saying because it's hard on the other side of this. She's won championships in high school, so she was just speaking on what she really believed. And although I went with it, I did in the moment, because in recruiting you want to believe young people, and I'll be damned if it ain't come true that she got championships on her resume, and she's putting us in a position of winning a 3rd in her class, which is quite incredible.
We're saying it's all right, Doug, if you raise your hand.
Hey, Coach, Doug Feinberg, the AP. You guys in UConn in the last couple decades, in the last decade, have dominated the sport, playing well and winning championships. I remember you eloquently spoke last year about Caitlin and how winning a title does not define a legacy. To yourself in the Final Four many times and didn't win it. Just how.
I hope this year goes the same way.
That's my question. I mean, you have a player in Paige who obviously is one of the best in the country right now and has had an injured play career, but really good. You know her well. Can you just talk about her, what she's meant to women's basketball, and even if you guys do win tomorrow, how that won't define her as not being maybe as good as others just because she didn't win a title, if that's what you believe?
I'm gonna tread lightly with this. Here's the thing. Sometimes we create these narratives about great players. Caitlin was one of them. Paige is one of them right now. And we tend to forget the narrative about what our kids have been able to do. And going for their 3rd in 4 years. So there's a sentimental narrative about Paige. Great freaking player. Like anybody would start their franchise with Paige because of her efficient way of playing, because of she's a winner, because she's cerebrally just knows the game, just has an aura about her. And she'll be the #1 pick in the WNBA draft, and she'll be an Olympian. She'll be all of those things, right? But when you put a narrative out there, everybody sees that, and it puts us at a disadvantage, whether you want to believe so or not. Officials see it. It's all over TikTok. It's all over SportsCenter. It's all over all of that. And she's a great player, but just because you're a great player doesn't mean you need to win a national championship to legitimize it. Paige is legit. She was legit from the moment she stepped, on on this stage or prior to in Minnesota. Her career is legendary. She will leave a legacy at UConn, whether she wins one or not. So I just want to put that out there. Like I can't not address it because it's happening. Like it happened to us last year. Everything was about Caitlin Clark and her legacy and her ability to win a national championship. Yet we were coming to this thing undefeated, doing something that's unprecedented at the time. Because it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And then we find ourselves back here in a similar situation. So, I want the sentiments to be about our players and
Yes.
what our players been able to do equally. Because
Yes.
there's room to do both. Okay, we can raise Paige up because she deserves that. We can raise our players up
Yes.
because they deserve that.
There you
And
go.
that's not talked about enough. There's room for our game. Like it's for Jose. There's room for our game for all of us to be covered. Let's not choose one's history over another program's history. Let's not choose one player over another player's history because we're all creating history for our game.
Amen. Amen.